Peace and love, everybody. This is Ruby D, the goddesspreneur. And yeah, I made a post this morning about ending that emotionally, mentally, and energetically abusive relationship. You know, the one with yourself. And I actually want to elaborate on that for some of you. But again, I am Ruby D, the goddess entrepreneur, the goddesspreneur, and I am an author of the Goddess Ground book series. I am a Reiki master. I am an energy health and wellness specialist. I am an emotional intelligence practitioner, and I'm also a speaker. So it's a lot of things that I do. And my approach is not to trauma bond, but more so of being a guide and speaking to you from the other side of healing. You know, the side where you've put in the work, you've done the work, and you're healed. And you can speak to others from a place of healing, a place of peace, a place of happiness, as opposed to a place of still learning and still trying to get through and still trying to make a way. You're not in the midst, or I'm not in the midst of a trauma, and I'm trying to help you. No, I've passed all of that. I've gotten through all of that, and I'm so grateful that I have done that. But with the post, it's amazing to see, because of course we are all on social media, but it's amazing to see how we talk about all of the other relationships that we have that are abusive relationships, or that are toxic relationships, that are relationships that are not for our highest good. And yes, here and there we talk about self-care, self-love, wanting to do better, and yeah, that whole thing. And my thought is, if you are going to complain about the relationship that you have with your mother not being a good one, the relationship that you have with your father not being a good one, the relationship that you have with your significant other, your baby mama, your baby daddy, you also have to talk about the relationship that you have with yourself not being good, because ultimately that's where this stems from. Okay? That's where it stems from. And the reason I say that is because when you improve the relationship with yourself, how you speak to yourself, how you treat yourself, the standards and the boundaries that you set with yourself, and you stick to them, and you discipline yourself, you deal with your own consequences when you don't adhere to those boundaries and adhere to those things. You hold yourself accountable. You will also do that with the other relationships that are troubling in your life. For example, I use myself. When I started my healing journey, I was in a relationship that wasn't good for me. It wasn't for my highest good. And so I went within, I improved me. And as a result of the work that I did over time, the improving the relationship that I had with myself, that gave me so much more confidence to deal with that relationship that I was in, being honest with myself about the actual state of that relationship. Even though I knew that the relationship wasn't for my highest good, it, even though you know before, you're just like, well, I'm kind of here and this is my situation, so I'm just going to kind of stick it out because you're not strong enough. It's not always that you're scared. It's just that you're not strong enough. You're not confident enough within yourself to move beyond that. What is life going to be like beyond this? Even though in the past you've gotten through so many things, other situations, other relationships, you know you can get through things, but you hesitate to move forward. And that was kind of where I was. I was hesitating. But with being on my healing journey and just strengthening the relationship that I had with myself and repairing the relationship that I had with myself, it gave me the strength I needed to just be open, upfront, and honest with that particular person. Like, hey, this ain't it. You're not the one. Yeah, I think it's time to move on. It's time to move past this. And it didn't. And there was no, as far as I know, there was not any, bad energy, bad blood, or anything like that, because that wasn't the intention. I mean, of course, you can't control other people. You can only control yourself. And, I'm glad that we didn't have any issues with that particular completion of that relationship. But because I took a good look at the relationship that I had with myself and made the effort to fix it, made the effort to improve it, then that pushed me to be comfortable with making the effort to improve other relationships. And that still continues to this day. Even with me deciding not to be in a relationship and just date, I was comfortable with just dating. And with just dating, those particular connections, I practiced what I had learned in repairing the relationship that I had with myself and repairing that relationship that I had with that particular person. And the more I went through relationships and connections and becoming more confident with being open, with being honest, with setting boundaries and adhering to those boundaries, and when people stepped outside of those boundaries or overstepped them, I was comfortable with telling them, hey, this is not what it's going to be. You need to either go left or right, but what I'm not going to do, or what we not going to do, is this. And they respected me more. They valued the relationship or the connection or the friendship more because they knew exactly where I stood when it came to me and the value I put on that relationship. And that's another thing. We have to intentionally and correctly value relationships that we are choosing. How can I best put it? It's just like currently with your connections, your relationships, and everything. Some connections and relationships are more important than others. And based on the importance of that relationship, that determines how seriously we take the relationship or how not so serious we take the relationship. And when we take a relationship more seriously, we invest more. We put more time and effort into it. We work to make it the best relationship that we possibly can. versus those that are less important, or less, those relationships that are less important to us. So when you begin to value all of your relationships, and you're not valuing them based on the person that you're in the relationship with, you're basing your value on what you need to do, how you need to heal, how you need to approach this connection, this relationship, and what you need to put into it in order to get what you want to get out of it. And what I mean by that is, even though I wasn't in serious relationships with people I was just dating, I still took the relationship important. I still took it seriously, because it was important that no matter what our relationship status was, or our connection status was, I was still able to be understood. I was still able to express myself. I was still able to be open with this individual and not feel judged. So that's what I mean when I say you have to value all of your relationships in order to begin to value yourself more, in order to improve how you move in relationships. And that'll be another topic I'll talk about when I'm referring to relationships completed versus failed relationships. So definitely have to talk about that. But I just wanted to do like a short little video talking about ending that emotionally and mentally and energetically abusive relationship that you have with yourself, and just bringing some clarity to that, so you all get a better understanding of what it is that I mean and what it is that I'm saying, because I can pose vaguely, and I do that on purpose, because people will interpret things and read things from their level of understanding, their level of experience, their level of willingness to learn. So, I am Ruby D, the Goddesspreneur. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be sharing more. If you have any questions, please ask. My inbox is always open, and I'll see you next time. Peace.